Hey everyone, today we've got updates on the new Harry Potter TV series. Cillian Murphy shutting down the Voldemort rumor, a stacked celebrity cast for the upcoming audiobooks, a fanfic that just sold for millions, and even a farewell to a true legend behind the Potter films. Stick around, because there's a lot to get into. And while you're here, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's jump straight in. So let's start with the big one, the Voldemort casting rumors. For months now, fans have been hyping up the idea of Cillian Murphy playing the Dark Lord in HBO's Harry Potter reboot. It makes sense. He's got the intensity, the sharp features, and after Oppenheimer, he's at the height of his powers. Even Ralph Fiennes himself, the original Voldemort, backed the idea. He said, "Cillian is a fantastic actor. That's a wonderful suggestion. I would be all in favor of Cillian." Yeah. So the hype was real. But Murphy himself just shut it all down on Josh Horowitz's Happy Sad Confused podcast. Here's what he said. "No, my kids show me it occasionally, but no, I don't know anything about that. I mean, also, it's just really hard to follow anything Ralph Fiennes does. The man is an absolute acting legend. So good luck to whoever's going to fill those shoes." And he didn't stop there. He even joked, he's very attached to his nose, making fun of Voldemort's famously snake-like slit-nostriled look. So yeah, as much as fans wanted it, Murphy's not doing it. Just to refresh. In the films, Voldemort was played by a few different people before Fiennes took over. In Sorcerer's Stone, he was a face on the back of Professor Quirrell's head, voiced by Richard Bremmer. In Chamber of Secrets, young Tom Riddle was played by Christian Coulson. He doesn't show up in Prisoner of Azkaban, but from Goblet of Fire onward, Ralph Fiennes absolutely owned the role across 5 films. So far, HBO has announced much of their core cast, but Voldemort is still uncast. And honestly, Cillian's right. Following Ralph Fiennes is one of the hardest jobs in this entire reboot. Whoever gets the part is going to be under a microscope from day one. But one thing's for sure. It's not gonna be Murphy. Alright, so now the Harry Potter full cast audio editions. Guys, this isn't just some basic audiobook where one person does funny voices. This is basically like they turned the books into an audio-only movie series. We're talking over 200 actors involved across all 7 books. It's a full dramatization with voices, sound effects, and a massive cast list that is stacked with A-listers. Let's get into the casting, because this is where things get insane. From the most recent announcements, we've got Kit Harington, Game of Thrones Jon Snow, as Gilderoy Lockhart. This is perfect. Lockhart is vain, smug, thinks he's the star of the show. Kit has that charm to play it both ridiculous and lovable at the same time. Keira Knightley as Dolores Umbridge. That's terrifying in the best way. Imagine Kira's calm, clipped, polite delivery, but layered with cruelty. Honestly, I'm already getting chills just thinking about it. James McAvoy as Mad-Eye Moody. He said himself, "I am absolutely thrilled to bring the fiercely determined Mad-Eye Moody to life in these dynamic audio editions from Pottermore and Audible. He's a layered character, constantly shifting between battle-hardened intensity and unexpected moments of wisdom. Capturing his commanding presence was incredibly fun. And yes, drop a like right now if that lineup already sold you, because we're just getting warmed up. Iwan Rheon, yep, Ramsay Bolton from Game of Thrones, as Professor Lupin. The irony of casting the most sadistic villain from Thrones as the gentlest defense against the dark arts teacher is kind of brilliant. Ruth Wilson as Bellatrix Lestrange. She has that unhinged energy. If you've seen her in Luther, you know exactly why she's perfect here. Ambika Maude, one day, as Tonks. Leo Woodall, the White Lotus, as Bill Weasley, and he said, "In creating Bill Weasley's adventures through voice, it is genuinely special to be part of bringing this world to life in a new way for listeners." Simon Pegg, Mission Impossible, Shaun of the Dead, as Arthur Weasley. Just imagining him asking, "What exactly is the function of a rubber duck?" is cracking me up already. Gemma Whelan, Game of Thrones. She played Yara Greyjoy as Professor Sprout. And Matt Berry, What We Do in the Shadows, as Sir Cadogan. If you've ever heard his voice, you know why this is genius casting. From the stellar cast to the immersive sound world that Pottermore and Audible have put together, listeners everywhere will be given a new way to be transported directly into these celebrated stories. And that's just the new names. The previous announcements were already stacked. Hugh Laurie House as Albus Dumbledore. Honestly, I can't think of a cooler choice. His voice has authority, but also that dry wit. Matthew Macfadyen, Succession, Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice. As Voldemort, that's going to be haunting. Riz Ahmed, Sound of Metal, as Snape. Can't wait to hear his interpretation. Michelle Gomez, Doctor Who, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, as McGonagall. She can do stern, but with a little sparkle. Mark Addy, Game of Thrones, Robert Baratheon, as Hagrid. Alex Hassel as Lucius Malfoy. Daniel Mays as Dobby. And Cush Jumbo, The Good Wife, The Beast Must Die, as the narrator who will guide us through the whole saga. Now let's talk about the trio, because this was an interesting choice. Instead of one set of kids doing all 7 books, they split it up. For the first 3 books, Philosopher's Stone through Prisoner of Azkaban, we've got Frankie Treadaway as Harry, Max Lester as Ron, and Arabella Stanton as Hermione. And remember, Arabella Stanton is also playing Hermione in HBO's upcoming TV show. So this is double duty for her. From Goblet of Fire onward, the roles shift to Jackson Knopf as Harry, Reese Mulligan as Ron, and Nina Barker Francis as Hermione. And here's the best part. The release schedule is tight. None of this waiting years between installments. The first audiobook, Sorcerer's Stone, comes out November 4th, 2025. Then each one drops monthly. So by May 2026, we'll already have Deathly Hallows. That's a full 7-month run of fresh Potter content. It honestly feels like they're making Potter an event again. And with a cast this stacked, you know fans are going to tune in. I mean, I was skeptical at first, but after hearing these names, I'm all in. Now let's talk about one of the wildest fan-to-Hollywood success stories we've seen in a while. Legendary Pictures, the studio behind Dune and Godzilla vs. Kong, just paid more than $3 million for the film rights to a book called Alchemized. And here's the kicker. This story started life as Harry Potter fanfiction. The author, Sen-Lin Yu, who goes by Sen, is already a legend in the fanfic world, especially in the Dramione corner of fandom, which pairs Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger. Their most famous work, Manacled, is basically infamous at this point. It's a dark dystopian story where Voldemort won the war, Harry is dead, and Hermione is forced into a horrifying arrangement with Draco. It's grim, it's brutal, and it's been compared to The Handmaid's Tale. That fic has more than 10 million reads on AO3 and over 100,000 5-star ratings on Goodreads. So yeah, Sen already had a massive following. Now comes Alchemized, and while it started as a Dramione fanfic, Sen completely reworked it into an original dark fantasy. The new story is set in a world called Palladia, which is basically torn apart by necromancers and corrupt guild families. The main character is Helena Marino, an alchemist and healer who's missing huge chunks of her memory. She gets sent to the estate of a necromancer known as the High Reeve, who's supposed to dig into her forgotten memories. But of course, he's not what he seems, and the place itself is full of dark secrets. The official tease describes it like this. Helena's fight, to protect her lost history and to preserve the last remaining shreds of her former self, is just beginning. For her prison and captor have secrets of their own. Secrets Helena must unearth, whatever the cost. And Sen said about the movie deal, I'm honored by Legendary's incredible enthusiasm for the project and can't wait to see the world of Palladia come to life. Now, fair warning, this is not light reading. Alchemized comes with heavy content warnings. We're talking wartime violence, trauma, human experimentation, abuse, even allusions to necrophilia. So yeah, this is not your cozy Hogwarts adventure. This is very much in the grim dark romantasy lane. The book itself is coming out on September 23, 2025, with a massive 750,000 first printing in 21 languages lined up. That's how confident the publisher, Del Rey, is in this thing. And the movie? Well, Legendary paying $3 million before the book even comes out tells you everything you need to know. They're betting this is going to be the next big fantasy franchise. It's kind of amazing to see. First, Twilight fanfic gave us 50 Shades of Grey. Now, Potter fanfic might give us the next big fantasy blockbuster. It really shows how fanfiction isn't just hobby writing anymore. It can literally launch careers and million-dollar deals. Not all the news this week is exciting, though. We also have to say goodbye to a true legend. Stuart Craig, the Oscar-winning production designer who created the look of the Harry Potter films, passed away at the age of 83 after a long battle with Parkinson's. Craig wasn't just part of the Potter films, he was the guy who made Hogwarts real. From the Great Hall to the moving staircases to the Quidditch pitch, his fingerprints are all over the series. He worked on all 8 Potter films and the Fantastic Beasts trilogy. David Yates, who directed the last 4 Potter movies and all of Fantastic Beasts, said this about him: "The people who worked with Stuart, me included, had a deep and respectful loyalty to him, in part because he was a visionary production designer, and in part because he was just a lovely man." He was also an Oscar heavyweight. Craig won 3 Academy Awards for Gandhi, Dangerous Liaisons, and The English Patient. He was nominated multiple times, including for Harry Potter films. If you've ever been to the Harry Potter studio tour in London, you've basically walked through his work. The huge Hogwarts model, the Great Hall, those are his creations. His vision is literally the reason the wizarding world feels so real on screen. Neil Lamont, another production designer who worked closely with him, called him a true gentleman with grace, kindness, and humility. So yeah, this is a big loss, not just for Potter fans, but for cinema. He was the quiet genius who made the magic tangible. All right, final chapter. Let's check in on the actual HBO show. Production has officially started in the UK. Season 1 will cover Philosopher's Stone, and the plan is to dedicate a whole season to each book, which means 7 seasons minimum. The bad news? We're not seeing it until 2027. Yeah, we've got a long wait, but at least things are moving now. Filming is underway, with various leaked images showing Harry and Hagrid on the streets of London or the Weasley family going to King's Cross Station to take the Hogwarts Express. New casting announcements arrived last week, such as Vin Stevens as Vincent Crabbe and William Nash as Gregory Goyle, Elijah Ocean as Dean Thomas, or the sensational return of Warwick Davis as Professor Flitwick. In short, the show is in good hands. This is very exciting. And again, Voldemort is still uncast. But since he doesn't fully appear until later, they've got time. So yeah, we're in the early stages, but between the bold casting choices and the scale HBO is aiming for, it's shaping up to be the most ambitious Potter adaptation yet. And that's everything for this round of Harry Potter updates. Cillian Murphy saying no to Voldemort, the insane all-star audiobook cast, a $3 million fanfic movie deal, a farewell to Stuart Craig, and a look at where HBO's reboot stands. Which of these stories got you the most hyped, or maybe the most emotional? Let me know down below. And as always, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll keep you updated on every twist and turn in the wizarding world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.